who's as adamant about his or her position as I am about mine, whom you think is sharp. Seriously, we know that. And another thing, we heard him say that... Hey sports fans, Larry Older here, and welcome to another edition of And Another Thing. Believe it or not, this is edition number 76. If you're interested in becoming an El Dorado, and I recommend that you do, go to LarryOlder.com, fill out the form, become an El Dorado. You're going to get, in addition to these special shows that you're watching right now, a free copy of Michael and Me. That's my award-winning feature-length documentary where we go over the Second Amendment and where I confront Michael Moore, and I ask him 3 times, Mr. Moore, how often do Americans use firearms to defend themselves? In other words, how many Americans are alive every year because they were able to get a firearm? I asked him that question 3 times. 3 times he gave an answer that was, how can I put it, non-responsive. I think you'll enjoy it. Now for episode number 76 of And Another Thing. I want to talk about what Attorney General Eric Holder said just the other day. He gave a speech and he said, don't get too excited about the fact that overt racists like Donald Sterling have been dealt with harshly. America has a zero tolerance for that kind of blatant racism. The pernicious kind of racism, the kind that we're facing right now, is even more insidious. It cuts, quote, more deeply, he said. He used the word pernicious. And he gave 3 examples. You guys know that I like to have examples when people make allegations. Don't just make some sweeping allegation. Give me examples. And thankfully, Eric Holder provided at least 3 examples in his speech. The first example that he gave of pernicious racism is the fact that black criminal defendants are sentenced to sentences about 20% longer than white criminal defendants are who commit the same crime. That's true. And he referred to the U.S. Sentencing Commission, which said that back in 2006. The problem is Eric Holder failed to mention that the Sentencing Commission never used the word racism, never said race was the reason for the gap. Furthermore, they said all sorts of legitimate factors go into why that gap is there. Legitimate factors. And Holder left that out. If these are the 3 examples of the 10% racism in America, I think as far as race relations are concerned, America is in very, very, very good shape. And now for your questions. Blair from Arcadia, California. With the VA scandal, the lack of care that was given to our veterans, and the overall breakdown of the VA, is this, Larry, a sample of how we can expect Obamacare to be administered? The answer is yes. When you have anything having to do with government, forget about the VA. Let's talk about the DMV. Let's talk about anything that the government does that's also done by the private sector, whether it's Amtrak, whether it's NPR or PBS. When you look at the salaries that they're paying these people, it appears that they're higher than the salaries that are being paid in the private sector. Name something that government does that's also being done by the private sector where government does it better. And it isn't because government employees are inherently lazy or inefficient. It's that government is not about making money. It's not about a profit. And as a result, almost nobody gets fired when they screw up. No heads roll when they screw up. And as a result, you're going to have less efficiency. You're going to have more waste, more fraud, and more abuse. Inherently so. And so if something can be done by the private sector, why should we allow the government sector to do it? We have food stamps. You don't go to a government store to redeem the food stamps, do you? We give health care to our veterans as we should. Why do they have to go to a government hospital? Why can't they go to a private hospital? I hope you enjoyed this small excerpt. If you want to see the full video, got to be in El Dorado. Go to my website, LarryOlder.com, log in, fill out the form. It'll cost you about $4.75 a month, or about the price of a mocha frappuccino latte at your favorite coffee house. As you can tell, I don't like coffee. I'm a tea drinker. See you next time.